sure about that?
QFusion. Let's get it in.
Alright, we are live. Got everything going. Okay, alright. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. The time is now. Alright, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. This is another episode with your boy here at QFusionReacts. Today, it looks like they finally finalized the deal between the Nets and the Mavericks. If you guys didn't know, you've been sleeping under a rug. For all the NBA fans out there, Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris are traded over to the Mavericks for, I believe, Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, a first-round pick, and a couple of later second-round picks. Obviously, the marquee pickup for this trade was Kyrie Irving over to the Nets. I still am on the fence about how this is going to exactly fit into the Maverick system, because as we all know, the Mavericks have Luka Doncic, who is a ball dominant guard at the moment, and he's killing it. But we also know that Kyrie Irving is also a ball dominant guard who's specializes in ISO play. So we kind of so I know for me, as a basketball junkie, I'm definitely interested to see how they go about retrofitting Kyrie Irving into the mix. I believe it can work. I just think that there's going to have to be a lot of set play that they introduce, so that way they can get Kyrie more so into some off-ball work. But nevertheless, I think that's much to be seen. So if anything, I definitely wanted to take a look at. It looks like Kyrie has spoken out in a press conference about sort of the whole trade itself, why he wanted out of Brooklyn, and sort of what are his I guess what are some of the things that he's looking forward to with regards to the new team that he's being brought on. And I thought it would be an interesting look. I have not watched this press conference yet, so I just kind of wanted to play a little bit of it just to see some of his thought processes as far as why he asked for a trade, what he felt as though he was lacking. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, watch alongside with me and let me know what you think in the comments below as far as whether or not this is going to be a fruitful trade for the Mavericks, or whether or not the Nets won this trade. All right, so let's take a look.
Kyrie, what are your initial reactions to being Maverick?
Super excited, grateful for the opportunity. Really feel wanted, and I know that they had to give up some pieces for me to get here, so I don't take that for granted. Shout out to Mr. Cuban, shout out to the whole entire front office of the Dallas organization. I've been here for about 48 hours or a little bit more than that, and it's been nothing but a warm embrace and nothing but genuine love. So I'm just taking it 1 minute at a time and just focus on what I can control, which is how I prepare, and just coming in every single day and being consistent.
There's been a lot of reporting, obviously, about what led up to you wanting to leave.
Pay attention to that, guys. I mean, if you heard him, he mentioned about the wanting to be wanted. That is something that it gets overlooked a lot of times. I know when people are in the comment sections hating on these guys for, they make all this money and all these other things or what have you. But at the end of the day, there is a human element to a lot of these things. And a lot of times, when you're sitting around an environment where you feel as though, this happens in our jobs every single day, where you're sitting in an environment where you feel underappreciated, undervalued, and you feel as though your voice is, you don't have much of a voice, even though you're one of the more you're being highly compensated. You still feel as though you're not really getting much of a voice within the walls of your own home, so to speak. So pay attention to that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna use this opportunity to just talk about the business that we're in. It's as a player, it's very emotional because you build lifelong relationships, and you want to hold on to them. And it's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. We all love each other in unconditional ways when we want to see each other do well. So, you know, the reporting and the journalism that was going to come out of why I left, I knew that was going to be speculation. You know, but for me personally, you know, just sitting in this seat today, I just know I want to be places where I'm celebrated and not just tolerated or just, you know, kind of dealt with in a way that doesn't make me feel respected. And there were times throughout this process when I was in Brooklyn where I felt very disrespected, and my talent. I work extremely hard at what I do. No one ever talks about my work ethic, though. Everyone talks about what I'm doing off the floor. So I just want to change that narrative and write my own story and just continue to prepare in the gym. And now that I'm in Dallas, just focus on what I can control, like I said. And, you know, I'm always going to be close with those guys in Brooklyn, just like I'm close with the guys in Boston, just like I'm close to the guys in Cleveland. You know, it is a team competitive sport, but we care about each other's families way more off the court. So I know those.
That was a really profound point he broke down earlier, where he mentioned, I want to be somewhere where I'm celebrated and not just tolerated. I mean, if you guys heard about the saga that Kyrie Irving went through with regards to the sort of alleged anti-Semitic tropes that he showcased by way of, you know, putting on that Amazon movie, that movie that was being sold on Amazon, that spoke very glaringly and demonstratively about the those of a Hebrew descent. And so, you know, say what you will, but, you know, the organization, you know, that you would want, you know, to feel as though your organization does have your back. And I would say that from looking at it from Kyrie's perspective, I would absolutely feel inclined to believe that he has a point, you know, as far as feeling as though that they definitely left him hanging when all of that went down. I mean, Joe Tsai, before even sitting down with him, he's already, you know, leading out, because I guess he feels as though he needs to get ahead of this and make it so, you know, with all this cancel culture going on, and feeling as though that he needs to make it known that he's not co-signing any of this, when in all actuality, if you actually sat down with your star, you would know that he's not necessarily even aligning himself with the anti-Semitic tropes that are being utilized throughout the course. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie. So, you know, to say that somebody is, you know, just to draw and, you know, cast an aspersion against somebody just because of something that they choose to maybe watch on their own time. I mean, I don't know how many of us are on Netflix watching, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer's, you know, crazy ass biopic or whatever that show was called. I mean, does that mean that there's so many people that were sitting there, you know, watching it and glorifying, I mean, to the fact that their kids were wearing Halloween costumes of Jeffrey Dahmer. So are we going to cast aspersions on those parents just because of what they chose to watch in their spare time? You know, I don't know. You know, this is not, you know, I don't think this is creating a really productive dialogue, as opposed to taking a look at the substance matter that he put to the table. And then if you actually watched it, you know, then if you have some things that you sort of want to counterpoint on and things of that nature, then do so. But when you only watch maybe not even a snippet of it, and then you want to go ahead and, you know, tear a person's whole character trajectory down, I don't know. I think that's just lazy thinking in my view.
Relationships will extend off. I'm just focused on preparing to win. I think that's another day where I could really go into detail about it. I'm not the person to really speak on names and go to someone behind their back and try to leak stuff to the media. That's never been me. Now, I've been an audience member of watching people say things about me that ultimately just fall off my shoulder. I'm really in a place that I'm grateful that I got to grow into over the last year and a half, 2 years. Spending time away from the basketball court gave me time to really appreciate life in a new way. And I just know I need healthy boundaries, especially in this entertainment business. There's a lot of disrespect that goes on with people's families, with their names, and I'm just not with it. So it's not personal against any of those guys in the front office. It's just what I'm willing to accept. And I took a chance, and luckily and fortunately, the Dallas Mavericks picked me up. So it's just all what I can control.
Well, to be fair, Kyrie, I mean, you have to we have to take a little bit of responsibility here. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this energy that you're talking about, a lot of this balance that you're asking for. I mean, at the same time, let's call a spade a spade. You weren't exactly diligent in the way that in the way that you went about your dealings within that organization as well. You know what I mean? Even down to that the video that we're talking about. I think when you do have that many people following you or on your social media, you do understand that there is a large amount of young men, as well as young girls that watch you, that are aspiring basketball players that are listening to you for what are some of the things that you're saying, some of the viewpoints that you have on the world. So it's not to say that you should be a beacon of role models, but at the same token, to act as though that your word has no value, and that just because you just should be assumed to be some norm, you should be able to have the freedoms, as I don't want to say the freedoms, but have the luxuries of average folk. I think that's just a little bit naive. So there's got to be some give and take here.
Kyrie, from your perspective, how would you sit through what was that push that led to where you are now?
I mean, we could sit here all day, man. I think we probably could go through the timeline of all the reports since I first came into Brooklyn. But the greatest lesson I could share with you that I learned from signing in Brooklyn for free agency is I wish I would have got to know the people that were behind the organization. I went in there and was just a kid with a dream on my mind with KD, and we wanted to bring a championship to a young organization. They were only around for 6 years. I grew up a New Jersey Nets fan. It's in my blood. I cheer for them. But when things start to change and you're not getting transparency and honesty from people in the front office or people around you, I mean, I don't know what person feels comfortable or confident in that type of environment. And again, I don't want to go into too many details because it's water under the bridge now. Like, I wish them well. I left them in 4th place. I did what I was supposed to do. Took care of my teammates. Was incredible.
Yeah, let them in 4th place. I think Kevin Durant had a huge helping in that. I mean, obviously, yes, you were, a valuable member of the push that the Nets made in order to climb back into the rankings of the Eastern Conference. Sorry, as far as from a seeding perspective, but I mean, let's take it easy there, man. Like, your time there, you did not accomplish anything close to what pundits would say that you guys were expected to. So it's arguable that you left there not really giving them much.
Incredibly selfless in my approach to leading. And I just want to do all the right things for myself, not to appease anybody that had something negative to say about me or they judge me. This basketball game, it's fun, and I want to keep it that way. I want to stay competitive and just work hard. So.
What did KD say when you talked to him?
I mean, obviously he wished things could have gone differently. We came together in about 2018, 19, kind of when that finals happened, and we weren't coming together to plan what team we were going to, but we just had goals together, and it wasn't just as a duo. We were seeing ourselves as savants in the culture that we wanted to teach the youngins, and if we got some young guys that were willing to sacrifice and buy into what we got going on, then we were going to flourish, we felt. But it just didn't work out, and we still remain brothers. But it is a business at the end of the day, as we always say, and I got to look out for my family, and ultimately I want to be at peace every time I come into work, rather than things hanging over my head or wondering what people think about me in the building, or whether or not a report's going to come out tomorrow that I don't talk to my teammates, which is untrue. And then, I just felt like being in New York City, in the media capital of the world, there was so many things that leaked out that I didn't even know where they came from. And I'm answering things that I don't deserve, and ultimately I don't pay attention to that much. So I'm just grateful that.
All right, that was a little bit of a contradiction. I mean, I don't know if I was with you until that. I mean, you can't say that you don't pay attention to it, but then you're saying that there's things coming out that are impacting you because that false narratives that are being thrown your way as far as from a questioning perspective. But then you're also saying you're not paying attention to these things when you're saying that when your family has to answer for things like it. you're paying attention to it. Obviously, I mean, this is the reason why you're asking to leave, because all of these things, I think we can surmise that they're all being boiled down to um, that they're negatively impacting you and your circle and those around you. So I don't think it's I know you're trying to take on this approach as where as though like this is I only got my bubble, I got my people, and that's all that matters. But like it's okay to admit that you know it got hot over there. You know what I'm saying? Like it they say it for a reason. The New York is it's a if you got to have a certain type of fervor to be able to play out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, look at Eli Manning. Jesus, whew, boy, and he won, and that ninja won 2
That
championships.
got to move on now here.
God
LeBron,
damn.
he a couple times said he wanted the Lakers to trade for you. I mean, he wanted
Oh
to
shit.
get, and probably still does, to play with you again. What does that mean to you that he's kind of been in your corner and wants to reunite?
I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I think you heard in this interview, like as much as the what ifs I would love to focus on and cherish, and the what could have been or what should be, I have to shift my focus to what we have going on here, and that's what brings me peace. Is just taking care of what I can control in here and really embracing my teammates and being one of the leaders on our team alongside the coaching staff in the front office of.
You know what? Besides that question, because I mean, I think we all know that that at some point you kind of have to chalk it up to hey, look, the shoulda, woulda, couldas are great, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What I want to take a look at, guys. I mean, I'm one of those people that when I see something, I don't know. I just kind of I try to think of myself as somebody that tries to look beyond the box, and so we all know that Kyrie Irving was he was essentially let go by Nike. They disbanded their contract negotiations as well as their obligations to each other. Kyrie Irving was even seen as putting a tape over the Nike sign on his shoes, and even putting some some choice words on there just to showcase the fact that he's gained his freedom. But it's crazy to me how big of an entity that Nike is, that even with all that going on, you still end up having, because of the fact that Nike is I guess they're the brand. Oh, I guess they're the brand that for NBA apparel, for team apparel. I mean, look, now you're still rocking Nike, even no matter where you go. It speaks to how these conglomerates are literally, you know, they're taking over to the point where it's kind of like you get stuck in a moral bind where you're like, damn, like shit, I just said, you know what? I don't give a fuck about these people, but then yet I have to sit here and wear their apparel. I mean, everything that I got, all my gear has to come down to Nike, regardless of what I'd want to do. Now I could go to Reebok, I could go to fucking Adidas, and yet I still, whenever I want to wear something with my team on it, I gotta rock the fucking old company that basically left me out to dry. Damn, damn, man. That is makes me want to just say
Damn, son, where'd you find
it's
this?
crazy.
Of just exemplifying what greatness looks like, and that's just worrying about the work, chopping wood and carrying water. Like I tweeted the other day, it's just the same thing every day, and
What the fuck?
just growing as a human being. So I think to not talk too much here, but me and Brian have grown as human beings, and it's always gonna be my brother. Always gonna have great things to say about him and his family, but my focus is here. So unfortunately, the Lakers, they're doing what they're doing, and that's it.
Kai, what conversations have you had with Lucas so far?
I text Luka, he texts me, so I'm just waiting to see him in person. I don't really do the phone calls and text messages. That's bogus. I like eye-to-eye contact
Oh,
and meeting people and embracing them in a different type of way, and it's just more human that way, more real.
What were you doing when you found out it was going to be
Nani?
your relationships with Nico and Jason? How does that help factor, moving into a new situation?
Well, Nico and Jason, I know that they're going to push me beyond kind of where I think I am right now. And that's the type of mentorship and guidance that I feel like I need at this point in my life. I'm not a kid with an NBA dream anymore. I don't want to dream in this space. I want to win, and I want to win with guys that exemplify greatness every single day. And it's not just on the court, it's in their professionalism, it's how they treat others, it's in the relationships, and it's genuine and authentic. So it was light in my eyes that came in when I was playing. I was actually at West Orange High School in my hometown, just playing up and down with a few guys, just trying to stay in shape because I was unsure about when the trade was going to happen. But when Dallas called my agent, it was definitely exciting because I didn't have to force anything.
You know what? That's a good that's a good point that he brings up. I you know what? I didn't even think about the fact that he's going to be paired with Jason Kidd, who we all know is a Hall of Fame point guard in his own right. So I think that this can help because I think something that's been missing with Kyrie's game is being able to, and I mean, I think he's getting better and better at the playmaking aspect of his repertoire, but I think he can take another step in that, and really fulfill that because that's really what Dallas is missing is when, Luka takes a step off the gas pedal and he needs to take a break or things of that nature. Like they need somebody who's, got the craftiness, got the ability to be able to break down defenses and be able to get others involved. So, I really do think that this pairing can work. I just do believe that, Kyrie is going to have to try to find a way to be able to utilize what she was doing when, Kevin Durant went down with his injury. I think that he could be able to find a way to sort of, to help with that with regards to being able to get others involved, get other action going, things and such. So I think I think Jason Kidd will be able to bring that out of him and be able to help him see what he's been missing in some of the looks he's been getting. And I'm sure they're going to look at tape of some of the games where he's probably had, poorer performances. So that way they can help him navigate within the sets that they run and sort of how he can be able to maximize the people around them because they do still have a solid squad. I don't know how far they can go, but I do think they can definitely make a splash. But no, guys, this was if you guys want to watch the rest of this press conference, you can go check it out. I mean, I believe it's on ESPN. So if you want to be able to see the rest of it, if anything, I'll put the link to the video in the description for when I release the video, so that way you guys are able to check it out. So if you guys have watched alongside with me and you guys have seen seen the press conference on your own, let me know what you guys think about this pairing. Do you think Luka and Kyrie can make it work? What do you think the Nets are going to go from here? Do you think that they're going to keep on shopping? Do you think they're going to keep on looking to accrue, draft assets? Or do you think that they're going to try to make a push with Kevin Durant because he still has 3 years left on his deal after the season's over? So you guys let me know in the comments below. But with that, I bid you guys adieu, and I look forward to talking.
Are you sure about that? QFusion.